All right, why don't we get started? Hello, everyone. I'm Ken McIntosh. This is my live stream for our meetup group, South Bay Art. You probably noticed some things are a little different. Let me just check something here. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm playing with a new streaming software today. It's called Ecamm Live. I was using a Logitech app before called Mevo, and the problem with Mevo is it just runs on your laptop, or it runs on mobile devices. It doesn't run on a PC. And during live streams, it was hard to use. You guys probably saw where I had my phone sitting on my palette so that I could watch basically the status of the recording. And in this Mevo saw, or not Mevo, but this Ecamm Live, it had some really good references, good reviews online. I watched a ton of videos on it. I played with the trial license for a couple hours, the last couple days, and it's just slick and it works. I can make these nice overlays. My overlay isn't that nice, but my plans are to make one. And anyways, and the other thing too is this allows me to stream live. So there's a minimum number of subscribers that I needed to be able to stream live from the Mevo app. This allows me to stream live automatically. So even though I don't think we have anybody on right now, I guess yeah, there's two folks on. But even though we don't have many folks on right now, I'm hoping that'll grow. And what this will let me do is be able to answer questions in real time. You know, I've watched enough of these videos. People usually ask you like, why a certain type of paint? What's your medium? It could be anything. There's so many podcasts that I listen to out there that are literally, hours of questions about painting. Today we are going to do another notebook portrait. The one that I've chosen is out of an app called Museum by Sketchy. It's a mobile app, and it's basically free use content. It's kind of a community. People upload pictures, for artists to use. Artists, will then once they do create content from it, they'll repost to the app. And it's kind of neat. It's a neat little community. I found out about it a couple years ago, and and somebody reminded me about it again. Andres from Instagram reminded me. I was like, hey, dude, because he posts almost daily portraits, and they're always beautiful people, interesting people, and I'm just like, where do you find? Because I have such a hard time finding people to paint and images to paint. I'm single. I live by myself. I'm not really. I have a dog, but I'm not really a pet a pet portrait artist. So I'm always struggling trying to find content. I guess that's why I hire models one or two times a week is because I don't have people that harass with my camera, in my day-to-day life. But anyways, Museum by Sketchy. This particular person, her name is Jaan Rav, Jan Rav is her last name, and I know there's some lens distortion. This is a selfie. It's probably a little detailed. I don't think I'm going to be able to capture all those freckles. But let's give it a try. I'm hoping to go. So we're starting at 9:30 a.m. Today. I'm hoping to go to. Let's try an hour. I know I've been going. I've been going about 90 minutes. I think I've even got one recording out there that's 3 hours long. But let's try for an hour. It's Sunday. My Giants are playing. They're about to get started. Hopefully they don't get their butts whooped like they usually do. I won't probably have such a long preamble in the future. I've been trying to jot down some notes on my whiteboard for things that I wanted to talk about. But ultimately, I just want to paint with you guys. I don't like painting by myself. So the whole purpose of this whole streaming thing and recording thing is, if you know me, you know I do pretty much everything in groups. Before my painting group, I had a mountain biking group. I think I've had my painting group now longer than I've had my mountain biking group. I think my mountain bike group was about 5 or 6 years. I just got tired of riding by myself, and the Bay Area is a weird thing. There's so many, you hear it all the time. It's kind of one of those places where it's highly populated. There's a ton of people. It's a rat race, but it's also kind of lonely. Especially for me, I'm single. I live by myself. I'm not complaining, but it is what it is. I'm single. I live by myself. I don't have kids. I do have some good friends, but they all have kids, and their lives revolve around their kids, and I like to go visit for birthdays and stuff, but not having kids is kind of weird. Being single is kind of weird for those types of things. So this is my way. If I was here by myself, I'd be talking to my dog, which is kind of weird and sad. But I'm hoping we both get something out of it. I hope that, maybe if you're interested in learning how to paint, this might inspire you to start, and not be afraid of it. If I could do it, you could do it. Let's talk about the painting a little bit. There is a little bit of let's see, for this camera right behind me here that I'm pointing at in the image of me, without my head blocking my notebook, I'd either have to put the camera in front of me, which I've tried, and that just doesn't work very well, or I got to put it behind me over my shoulder, kind of to the side. So my notebook is a little bit skewed. I got it pretty good, I think, but don't harass me in the comments about the shape of things too much, because I think the skew of the camera angle is not helping me at all. So I'm starting the way I normally do. It's taken me a long time to be disciplined enough to do a good sketch before tackling color. I'm supposed to spend an hour on this, but we don't have an hour. I don't think we're going to finish this today, just because I'm probably going to do more talking than painting. But we'll get a good start going. I'll start posting my paint in the description, my palette colors. But from left to right, it's titanium white, cad lemon, cad yellow, golden ochre, cad orange, cad red light, alizarin crimson, transparent red oxide, raw umber, light blue. It's literally called light blue. In previous videos, I've showed you the brand. Alizarin crimson. I'm sorry. French ultramarine blue is this blue in the corner. I do have some black, just because my last painting, the background had a bunch of black, and it's black takes a long time to dry, so I just leave it out there. And then I've got some convenience colors that we've talked about. I've got this for portraiture, it's nice. I've got this rosy beige we've talked about, and it's a Blick Studio, or their student grade color. And then I've also got this one here, and it's called Buff Titanium. And my brushes I'm primarily using Brian Mark Taylor's Traquel signature set. I just got it. It's mostly these golden taklons, which I didn't realize, but it's their #1 selling brush. But they're nice. They're nice. And then you've heard me talk about my my Xiaomingwu brushes. I can't even say the brand. Hua and they're made out of Korea. And this is a size 156, and it's 30 millimeters wide. So you'll see me use that a lot. My medium is about 1/3 linseed oil and about 2/3 Gamsol. So, and I'm using a lot of Gamsol in this bit just so that I can move the paint around. And I'm measuring. If you see me kind of hold my brush out to the right here, it's because I'm measuring. We talked about it before from the David Gray workshop. Just as a starting point, I decided I want my head to fit in my canvas there and there. These 2 spots never change. Thank you, David Gray. My measuring has gotten so much better since I started this simple little step. And then the next thing that we measure, I know the eyes are roughly here, but I still need to get out of the habit and just putting that line there. So I'm going to measure, and I'm measuring basically from the bottom of the chin. My iPad is just to the right here. So I'm measuring from the bottom of the chin to kind of where the center of the eyebrows are. And that kind of always matches up to where the highest point of the bridge of the eyebrow is. So, and what you do, so I go from chin to bridge, and then I see how much farther over it is, right? So you can see that I'm that's probably 20% higher. So I know from the center, this eye line is about 20% higher. So the center is pretty easy to find. And that you go like this, and then you go like this. And then if it's not the center, you just adjust and do it again. Still not right. And you always want to hold your arm out straight. I don't know if you can see in the video, but I'm holding my arm out straight. So let's find that center first, actually. So thumb, I think this is about the center. Let's measure it. So when I measure it, it's not the center. It's actually a little bit higher. So let's readjust. So a little bit higher. So let's say that's the center. Let's check it. That's getting pretty close, but it's actually a little higher. And we're going to the very, we're calling the top of the head, we're going to call the top of the head where it goes up under the hat. That's kind of like where the top of the skull is. That's what we'll use. So anyways, let's keep finding that center. So here to here, that's pretty good. So believe it or not, I was that far off. So that's why we measure. So I thought that this was the center. That's actually the center between here and here. And granted, there's some, don't forget there's some skew because of the camera angle, but that is actually the center. So now when I go back and I measure that bridge, remember we said it was about 20% higher? I think it's about 25% higher, actually. Whoa. Every time I measure it, it seems a little different. Yeah, that bridge is really high on her head, isn't it? That bridge of her eyebrow. So let's just do it again. So where's the center on the image? The center on the image is kind of right where her tear ducts are. And yeah, this is time consuming and boring, and I'm just learning how to do it. So bear with me a little bit. So I'd say from the center line, the bridge of the eyebrows is about a third. So 1, 2, 3. So I think the center, both vertically and horizontally, should be right about there. And so that's gonna, and like I said, that's where the tops of the bridge of the eyebrows are, and that's usually where the eyebrows rest. So let's just put that line there for now. Remember we said the center line was kind of where the tear ducts are. So we're going to go out here a little bit. And we know the distance between the tear ducts, you might not know this, but the distance between the tear ducts is the same as the width of the eye. So I'm going to start there. And her eyes are pretty far apart. So let's draw those in real quick. And so we'll measure. So there, there, and there. And this might not be perfect, but you got to start somewhere, right? And you can't fix it. You can't fix anything. And that's all to me painting is you just keep fixing mistakes until you run out of things to fix. I got to make sure my head's not in the way. Not too bad. You get to see my ear once in a while. I'll sit side saddle. Check something real quick. We're about 22 minutes in. Looks like everything's working. If there is an issue with anything or I need to adjust anything, I know I'm a little bit dark. But if there's anything that needs to be adjusted, looks like there's one other person in the stream. If there's anything that needs to be adjusted, let me know in the comments. Say hi too. If you're watching, don't be a lurker. Just drop a hi in there. Of course, I'm interested to see if anybody's watching. Don't be a lurker. And I promise I won't work on this. I know I worked on the last one a little bit without you guys, and I promise not to do that with this one. We're not going to do much with the eyes. I'm just kind of placing them just to kind of get an idea for where they're at. This is the top of the eyelid. Let's get some more paint on there. Pretty interesting model, huh? She almost doesn't even seem real to me. She looks almost like an AI. I've been playing with AI a lot lately. It's pretty incredible, pretty weird, but also pretty incredible. I want to use, and I did this on that big painting. I put the big swaths of hair in front of the face, and I talked myself into it being helpful for measuring. I still, when I look at that painting, I see that it just dried too dark, and I don't think I'm going to do that with this one. I'm very lightly got some hair on there, but it's too hard to paint over the lines that I created. All right, so let's see where the bottom of that nose is now. So typically, so we'll go, remember we said our tear ducts were about halfway, and I'm measuring from the source image on my iPad to the right here. So half of that, let's see what half, so if I measure from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin, and then I go from the bottom of the nose up, it's more, the bottom of her nose is more than halfway. So how far is it? So let's go to from the tear ducts down to the bottom of the nose. So it's about 20%. It's about 20% higher. So if I go here and I make a line that's about halfway, sorry, this is very boring, but you got to do it. If you want to be an artist, you got to learn to measure. That's not true, but if you want a likeness for your portrait, you kind of got to learn to measure. All right, so I think that's halfway. Right, and then I said before that the bottom of the nose is about 20% higher. So if we divide this by 5 now, that's about 20%. So we're going to put the bottom of the nose there. And nostrils come around like this, like this. And then let's measure where the sides of the nose are. So usually they line up with the tear ducts. This tear duct, it's kind of weird if you look at the image. I can't zoom in on that, but if you look at the image, I can zoom in a little bit. Actually, we could do this. If you look at the image, the nose actually, the side of the nose kind of disappears behind, on the left side of the nose. Where the side of the nose touches the face is actually behind the front of the nose. So it kind of folds back. So even though we're going to line up the tear duct with the side of the nose, keep in mind that it's actually behind it. You can see on the right side of the nose how it almost perfectly is in line. If you were the same angle as the tilt of her head, if you were to line up the tear duct with the side of the nose, you'll see that it matches. And then if you go farther down, you'll see that the lips are a little wider than the side of the nose and the tear duct. So these are the things that you're kind of thinking about. It's kind of weird painting, talking, and measuring at the same time. But these are the things that you want to be thinking about when you're doing a portrait. Is where do these things line up? And the more time you take now, and I know that my friends are watching this video saying, dude, I've been telling you this for 2 years now. But, and then remember, we can't quite see. So this is supposed to touch the face here, but the front of the nose is behind it. So we're going to go a little bit wider. All right. And then we could rough that shape in a little bit. I think by the end of this video, we're just going to have a sketch, but that's okay. Like I said, we'll just keep working on it. And then let's get and I'll probably, before the video is over, we'll erase a little bit. Normally, and I could do that. Let me get another brush. We'll get a little Gamsol on it and a paper towel. And we'll use that to erase a little bit. So I didn't make a ground for this notebook page. It's gessoed. I could, it's not bugging me. Usually I'll use a ground if I want to. Usually I'll use a ground if I want to erase a portrait into the ground. I guess paint by subtraction. I also will put a ground on when I'm doing painting outside, just because the glare of the white background is just too much. It's just hell on your eyes. Because you don't wear sunglasses. You shouldn't wear sunglasses when you're doing plein air painting. Let's see. I think we're gonna move, measuring again. I think we're gonna move this eyebrow out a little bit. She's actually got just a little bit of peach fuzz between her eyes. We're obviously not going to tackle the peach fuzz, but in my style is just kind of bop around. Like I have a plan, like I want to, so I want to get the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth in, and then the basic shape of the head. I gotta be careful. Let's check this line again. So the center of her forehead comes down like this, and then it comes down like this. But then, let's get that line. Remember, we're not moving that line. But then her mouth is way to the left. Her nose, I think her nose might need to be more to the left. And then also, let's check the angle of that nose. I think I've got her nose tilted too much, don't I? So yeah, this is just a little bit too low. So let's erase that. So I'm sitting in a chair, which is normally not how I paint. But I was watching Jaan Wu, and he basically will lay way back in his chair and to get as far away from the painting as he can, to basically just check to see, does this thing look right? And that's how I caught that issue with the nose. But we also got, so it's kind of, maybe my problem is, the thing is I got to get that mouth over here. The thing is, not only is her head tilted to the left, what is that, 90, 95, 100 degrees maybe, but it's also turned. And so that's something that we gotta keep in mind too, is that it's turned. So I'm gonna do a wide part. Just measuring. Yeah, so let's move that whole thing over. So I guess I screwed that up, huh? No problem. So even though in my mind I said it was straight down, and it is straight down, I went straight down at 100 degrees versus straight down at 90 degrees. So let's fix that. Now's the time to fix that. And then that will pull the mouth where it's supposed to be. So no problem, let's just erase it. Get rid of this, get rid of this. So we said about 20%, so let's find the halfway mark again. We want halfway between the tear ducts. That's pretty good, halfway between. And then we said about 20% higher. That's pretty good. All right. And this side is straight down as well. All right. Okay. We'll erase out that center bit. The center bit comes down. All right. Let's take a stab at the top of the lips. They're very round, aren't they? Very round. So let's do another plumb line. So this side lines up right under her tear duct. So we'll drop this all the way down to here. Whoops, we got to go straight down. So okay. And then this side, the right side, goes all the way out to the left side of her pupil. So way into her iris. So way into her iris. And it kind of does a little S curve. But it ultimately ends up at her iris. Where does the round part end up? The round part ends up just a little bit past her tear duct. So, and it is tilted. So let's try that. So remember, it's tilted. We want to make sure that we got this tilt. We got this tilt. And then let's measure from the bottom of the nose to the dark part of that dark center line in her mouth, to her chin. So it's definitely higher. Bottom of her nose. Yeah. It's almost... So from the bottom of the nose, which is here, to here, this is about halfway, this line. Whoops, not quite. Yeah, it's about a little more than halfway that line. But her lip is actually, that line is actually, so if this is 50%, it's 75%. That can't be right. That can't be right. Let's take another look. So it's halfway. And then it's up again another half. It can't be that high. Sorry, I'm stalling. I'm not stalling, I'm just trying to figure out why I can't measure this. So that line is 2/3 of the way down. I measured it 3 times now. From the bottom, so if we divide this, so what is the top? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like visually that looks right, but let me put where I think it is and then we'll measure again. My philosophy here is can't fix it until you put it down. So let's put it down and then we'll fix it. All right, let me get rid of this. I don't think this line is very good. I think it's more like this. Let's get rid of that. All right. Well, that's growing on us. We'll have to measure that some more. All right. Let's get some of these other shapes down. I'm not going to draw that hair over the face like I said. So this line, remember we said, was where kind of her hair meets her hat. So that means that she's also got this line. Hair's gonna come down here. And I'm doing the Xiaoming Wu. I'm basically doing, I'm holding my sketching hand kind of like the back of the brush in the kind of the crease of my hand, crease of my palm. And I'm basically doing straight lines. I'm not doing any any curved lines. Whoop, I just lied. Curved line. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this image of, I guess, Jaan, Jan, Jaan. That sounds like Jan to me. Jaan, John. I'm gonna call her Jan. Of Jan was just because of her unique face, right? Unique and interesting. Big features, big eyes, big nose, big lips. For a new artist like myself, or a new portrait artist like myself, that's all good stuff. Really makes it easy to paint with those big features. The other part too was these colors. The orange in the headband. There's a big ribbon of orange, and then a big ribbon of pink, and like the red on the shoulders. That is looks like transparent red oxide, and maybe a little cad orange right out of the tube, right? Just really vibrant colors against that pure black background. Really gonna be fun to paint. Let's get some more medium on there. Actually, it's almost all. I'm painting almost with all, just Gamsol. Well, I'm trying not to do curved lines, but it's kind of hard not to. Hard not to with hair. Where are we at? About 48 minutes. Just kind of looking back and forth. Between my iPad and my image. Between the iPad, which is the source image, and my painting. You definitely don't want to put these types of lines in a finished painting. I mean, if any, that really makes a person look old, having those lines there. But I see them in the source image, and I'm using those for guides. To measure from. And something too, like if this nose really comes down lower. And that's the kind of thing that will haunt you. Like, you'll be like, there's something wrong with my painting and I can't figure out what the hell it is. And it's usually something like that. So we measure. I don't like to measure with this part of the brush because it's rounded, but this part of the brush is pretty flat. So I'm just checking angles now. Check the tear ducts, check the nose. So we're going to bring this down a little bit. Oops, let's get. I got two brushes that look exactly the same. So it's hard to tell the clean one from the dirty one. And this is, I know I think of myself as an alla prima painter, but since I've got this home easel, I want to make, and I found that if I spend more time on my paintings, that they turn out better. And so even though I think of myself as an alla prima painter, I probably call myself an alla prima painter in other settings, I have no problem with not getting this done in one sitting. And I have no problem fussing with it more than I normally would. I have no problem with this just being a sketch. Or ending on a sketch. So normally when we paint in the studio, we that's it. You paint from the model. She's there from 6:30 to 9:30, and what you go home with is what you go home with. Granted, I mean, we all have source images that we take home with us, but I don't know. I know one guy, Robert. He works on his paintings a little more from home after the session. But for the most part, what we leave with is what we end up with. I guess what I'm saying is they don't work. None of us are working on our paintings from home. And that's, for me, it's just because traditionally I've just got too much painting going on. Paint on, that looks terrible. We paint on Wednesday nights. We paint on Saturdays. We were painting on Fridays as well. I'm thinking about painting on, I'm thinking about painting on Mondays. I've got some models lined up that are interested in that. But I kind of also need to figure out what night I want to do this live streaming. Because I think I'd like to do it in the evenings. As opposed to a beautiful Sunday morning when I should be out doing stuff. Healthy stuff with my dog or friends. See, what does the top of that? So this hat goes way, way up and over. So I squeezed out about 20 bucks worth of paint, and it looks like today we're just going to use this raw umber, which is fine. I gotta say, I've been painting some crappy paintings lately. It'd be nice if this one is a nice one. Yeah, let's see. The painting, so last plein air was okay. My Wednesday night painting, we had a wonderful model, Luana. That painting is crappy. That's why I got squeezed out all this paint, is because I dream and then just ran out of time. But that painting is crappy. And then we painted at a Rastadero yesterday. I don't know why I'm doing these strokes like this. We painted at a Rastadero yesterday. That's a cool nature preserve in Palo Alto off of Page Mill Road. I painted 2 paintings there. It's kind of neat because I've lived in the Bay Area now for, gosh, probably closer to 30 years than 25. And I don't remember there being so much water in the lake there, Rastradero Lake. And so my first painting was at the lake. And but when I got there were no wildflowers. The whole point of painting there was to get some wildflower action. And the sky was gray. And but I started my painting anyways because I had it in my mind that I had to have 2 paintings. And what I should have did was just paint 1 good painting, but I ended up coming home with 2 crappy paintings. They're not crappy. Everybody said they're nice, but I didn't like them. So let's measure our lines again. So it's kind of like the bottom lip is always shinier than the top lip, or lighter than the top lip, because the top lip is supposed to cast a shadow on itself. But she's kind of front lit. Like it looks like in the source image, their light is hitting her boop right between the eyes. You can see boop right here on her nose. So literally the light is coming right from my face into her face. And so her lips aren't lit normally the way. Normally when I do portraits, the light comes down at kind of a 45-degree angle, just a little bit to the front of the model. So this is throwing me off a little bit. Did I just grab black? Don't want black. I'm just doing raw umber today. So let's do this whole thing. Right. We're at about an hour. Yeah, so anyways, I've been painting some crappy paintings lately. It's fine. You know, the cure for when you're painting a lot of crappy paintings is just to keep painting. I don't know how professional artists do it. Because when I paint a crappy painting, I just throw it on a pile with the rest of my crappy paintings, and 6 months or a year down the road, I either fix it, put it back up on an easel and fix it, which is kind of a lie because I really never do that, or I just gesso over it and use the panel for my next painting. But I couldn't imagine being a professional artist where I'm on the hook for delivering a finished painting, whether I think it's crappy or not. I bet a lot of professional artists hand over paintings that they think are crappy. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. I guess all I'm saying is I have no idea how professional artists do what they do. I have the luxury of just saying, "Oh well, get it next time." So I started putting our group's info in the description now that I could add links. Again, if you're following this, you know that our group is called South Bay Art. It's a meetup group out of San Jose, California. We paint on Saturdays outdoors, kind of all over the San Francisco Bay Area. As far south as Monterey to as far north as San Francisco. As far east, we don't get too far east. Livermore is about as far east as we get, and then we spend a lot of time on the coast. So next Saturday, we're painting at Rockaway Beach in Livermore. Not Livermore. We're painting at Rockaway Beach in Pacifica. And then Wednesday night, we have a first male figure model that we've had in a long time. I'm not going to be there, but Robert is going to host that one. I've got a work dinner that night, which is kind of cool because we haven't had anything like that since before COVID. I've got some coworkers coming in from, I think one from Austin, Texas, and one from Salt Lake City, and one from as far as the UK. You know who you are. It should be good, but we're having a team dinner that night. We're having a kind of a executive briefing with a business partner of ours, and then we're doing a team dinner, which will be nice. And then I've also got my buddy JJ coming to town. I think he gets in tomorrow and leaves Wednesday morning. I'm just kind of talking and painting, seeing if I can find some stuff. I don't want to get too carried away. I'm gonna let this drawing kind of sit with me a little bit. I'm gonna try to see if I can figure out what I did wrong with that mouth shape. kind of neat. I could look at the display. I can look at the display. I could even take this and make it the same size. And I can really look at it side by side. I know that's not very interesting for you guys. But like if I look at them like that, yeah, I can move that mouth over a little bit. Move the top of it down a little bit. But I think once we start getting some color in there, it'll start to make a little more sense. I think I got the shape of the head okay. Work on that nose a little bit more. Yeah, I think we'll be all right. All right, what else? What else? Yeah, I think that's it. I'll be interested to see. So this is supposed to upload itself to YouTube. Hopefully that all works. I chickened out. I had it set up to stream to Facebook as well, but I kind of chickened out. I have a lot more followers on Facebook than YouTube, at least for this channel. So this would be a good. I thought this would be a good test run. But anyways, let's call it. I think we got a good starting point for our sketch. Good first live streaming session. I see two people on. So whoever that second person is, thanks for joining. I think over time we'll start getting more people, hopefully. But this was fun. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.